Hey, what's going on, everybody? So today I want to share with you guys a really quick video on what it actually looks like when you shoot a chemical projectile at a target using a less lethal launcher. Today we're going to be using the S2 launcher from Salt Supply Company. Now, of course, there's going to be different scenarios for every situation, and there's going to be nuances for this conversation. But in my humble opinion, if you're trying to shoot chemical projectiles out of your less lethal, you don't want your launcher to be too strong. The X68 is a great launcher if you're using, maybe the Dual V3s, Dual V2s, metal rounds or whatnot. But if you're trying to shoot out chemical projectiles, more likely than not, you have a high probability of these chemical projectiles bursting within the gun or within the launcher itself or the barrel before actually even hitting your target. And I want every bit of this chemical projectile to be exploding on or really close to my target. So again, guys, I think the S2 is a really good launcher for shooting chemical projectiles. I think it'll put out about 20 to 25 joules. Now, since chemical projectiles are pretty expensive, we're gonna be replacing our chemical projectiles with these training powder balls that are gonna give us a very good representation of what it would actually be like when we shoot live rounds. But if you do pick up some live rounds, I do suggest that you get the ones that they ship the S2 with when you buy the package deal. This is the ones from Mace. These here are the pepper powder and tear gas mixture that they have. Again, guys, I think it's a really good mixture. I think it's a very potent mixture. And again, they're meant to go with the S2. At least they've kind of designed it to be that way. And so why not go with what they recommend, right? But in any case, we're gonna go ahead and load up our magazines, and we're gonna load up these practice rounds here, and we're gonna just fire off at our training dummy here. Ooh, that didn't even bust. Let's see. Ooh, that didn't even bust, guys. So what a great learning experience. We learned while trying to shoot these training projectiles for chemical rounds that while you're shooting chemical rounds, you need to be sure that you're hitting a hard enough target for them to crack open and spread their chemical agent. We are shooting a pretty soft sheathing material, and I didn't even think about it not being hard enough to crack open these rounds. One of them did open up, but the rest of them, it didn't do anything. It would have just pissed off the attacker. So you need to be shooting at a hard enough wall or a hard enough part of the body in order for these chemical projectiles to actually open up. That is a great learning experience. That's something that you definitely wouldn't want to happen in a real life scenario where you're shooting somebody that maybe is wearing a very thick jacket. It has been very, very cold recently. So if they're wearing those big sporting thick jackets, there's a good chance that that chemical projectile wouldn't have even opened up. You know, if you're shooting, let's say a very low quality drywall material, maybe around your house, maybe, maybe there's not solid wood or anything like that, and you're just shooting around a area that isn't very hard, it probably wouldn't have bust. That's a very good thing to keep in mind and to consider when you're thinking about self-defense. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and give it another go. As you guys can see though, I've put up some boards from an old decking project that I had as well on either side of it. And so we're gonna be aiming for that. That should be definitely hard enough for the projectiles to break open, but we're gonna be aiming for that. And then we're gonna give another go at the head to see if it cracks open. I really doubt it though, because our training dummy is just full of stuffing, and I don't think it's gonna be hard enough for the training round to crack open, but we'll give it a go. Let's go ahead and load up these rounds. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. Hopefully we get better results. Nope, landed right in front of us. So for myself, guys, I've never been one of those guys that like to edit out and only show the good stuff. I think this is a very good example of real life scenarios that could possibly play out in these home defense situations, right? If you have a less than lethal launcher and that's your only go-to for self-defense, and you're counting on these chemical rounds to do what you've seen them advertised to do, you really need to be practicing. I think that is the biggest thing in regards to making sure that as many things as possible don't happen wrong when it comes to using these launchers. And that goes for regular firearms as well, right? You got to practice the use of your weapon, whether it's less lethal or not. But I think that's the biggest takeaway from this is you have to practice actually using chemical rounds. It is something else to just be shooting the hard kinetic projectiles like you would do with the Gavel or the X68 pistol. But if you're shooting these chemical projectiles, again, I think it's really, really important that you practice, because you could just pull it out. And if you've never practiced, you could experience the same thing we just experienced and be shooting maybe not your target, but around it because you thought that that would be a great thing in order to spread the chemical agent around your attacker and have something like that happen and everything go awry for you. So again, guys, I thought this was a really good video. The outcomes definitely weren't what I planned, but I think it was actually better for the sake of the video that it ended up this way, because this is stuff that we actually have to keep in mind when we are thinking about either purchasing and or using these less than lethal, options that we actually have. So again, guys, if you guys like the video, make sure you guys do me a huge favor, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, give me the comments down below. I know everybody always has their opinions about these less than lethal launchers. Again, this is just a tool. This is just a tool like many other things, guys. You have to be prepared to escalate or to de-escalate and get away as fast as you can when it comes to self-defense in general. If anybody is mistaken, this is just a tool, guys. This isn't made to be a guarantee. This is more often than not, in my humble opinion, meant to give you time, to buy you time to either de-escalate the situation, get away, preferably, out of the situation just in general, and or, like I said, buy you time before you unfortunately may have to escalate it to a more lethal option. But that's what I got for today's video. I hope you guys all do well out there and stay safe. Peace.